Hello, friends. Testing 1, 2, 3. Hope I'm live. Never know, there's flashing lights. Happy Mother's Day. Boy, I see so many of you out there with your beautiful outfits on and your flowers and your brunches and your dresses and all of the, I hope it's sunny where you are as well. It's a beautiful day to celebrate Mother's Day. I am not my best today. I do have flowers from my mother's peony bush, and I have my own kind of celebration. I'll tell you, every day is Mother's Day in my world. So let me reintroduce myself. I'm Darcy. I am the creator of the Vibrant Woman program, the Vibrant Woman Universe. I've been teaching this for half a decade now. I'm also the mother of a formerly brain-injured child, so I'm who just graduated university, actually. I'm a child brain developmentalist. I'm a metabolic health expert. I am a writer, a speaker, a teacher, a literacy expert, the creator of the Vibrant Woman Universe. And today I just come to you with my open heart and some real transparency. Today I am just a woman who is willing to tell the truth about what's real right now and what it means to really come home to yourself. So I'm going to be mothering myself today, and I'm going to be doing something special starting tomorrow to take really good care of myself. And I'm going to tell you more about that here in a minute. But I just wanted to come on here today and sort of pull back the veil. I have not been fully present for a good while now. I'm going to say 6 months at least, and I did not run any of my Vibrant Woman programming this year. So if you're a Vibrant Woman alum, I'm delighted to see you. If you've been a follower for a while and never stepped into the Vibrant Woman universe, welcome. If you're somebody who just is like, what's that Vibrant Woman stuff about? Stay with me for a minute. I'm going to try not to and hum and ha. I do have a very clear message that I wanted to share, and I'm just kind of getting into my zone here. I want to open up and be really transparent with you today. I'm here to mother myself, and I'm here to do it in a way that's very open and honest, and because I want you to see my journey. I am not my best self right now. I have not been my best self for a good while. I want to tell you a little bit about the story that has taken me down a path that I never thought I would be on. If you roll back a year, or even 5 years ago when I began promoting my Vibrant Woman work, which was based on the work that I did with my own daughter, rehabilitating her brain injury, helping her learn to read, write, run, bike, swim, do round off back handsprings, go to college, all of the things that all the experts told me she would never do. And along that journey, I became my best self. I outgrew all of my allergies. I lost weight. I'm, one person on one side of my family that's not diabetic or pre-diabetic. I mean, I took a fork in the road that I never knew was available to me, and I call it the path to thriving. And I say it's a path we all deserve to be on. And I have spent the better part of my life living that path and then teaching other people how to do so. But very recently, I hit a bump in my own path. And I'm here to tell you a little bit about that and about the grief that I'm working through and why I'm not my best self, and then what I plan to do about it, because what I'm hoping is that a few of you might want to walk alongside me. So I have spent the last year co-running a nonprofit, a literacy nonprofit, and walking a beautiful, beloved companion of mine toward the end of her journey. I had no idea that a couple of choices that I made could have put my dog Bella in jeopardy. And we lost her 2 months ago. Looked like pneumonia on the surface. We went through, it was a traumatic experience. It was full of a little drama, more drama than I prefer to have in my life. And it was a couple of days, almost a week of a really traumatic experience that I thought was helping her fight pneumonia. And there was probably an underlying cancer there. And it has taken me these past 7-8 weeks to put the story back together and sort of understand what led to what, and really begin to heal myself from some of the guilt and the shame that I felt around this, because I think it's a choice that I made a while ago that could have I don't think it caused the cancer, but I think it may have made it worse. I think it may have sped her passing. And listen, I'm not going to go into all the gory details on that right now. It's something I'm going to write about. It's something I'm going to teach about. And it's something that I'm going to invite people to share with me when I'm ready. For today, what I want you to understand is that I have been grieving and I have been working with this dog, this sick dog. And I thought, I'm going to do it again. I am just going to do it again. I'm going to heal this dog and I'm going to write a book about it. I'm going to teach people just what is possible when you understand the body and the brain, and when you understand the overlap of science and spirituality, and when you really get it that nature is, she knows what she's doing, and that you're not like nature, you're a part of nature, and that our animals are a part of nature, and that we're here to learn from them. So this is the woman that I was and that I was proud to be for years and years and years. And on March 17th, when Belle passed away, and I left the emergency vet empty-handed, all of that came crashing down for me. And I've spent the last 7 weeks trying to understand this new terrain that I'm in, navigating some grief. And one of the things that happens, and maybe you're going to resonate with this, one of the things that happens when our nervous system is traumatized this way, and right, my experience is unique to me, but there's a universality here. So when we experience trauma and our nervous systems become activated, they become extremely sympathetic, okay, this fight or flight, freeze or fawn, but for a lot of us, if it's very activated, it's fight or flight. This sets into motion a whole host of processes in your body to deal with this. And I thought that I was healthy enough, and I thought that I knew what I knew, and I knew it enough to take really good care of myself through this journey. And I have really struggled. So here's one of the first things that happened, and you see if you recognize yourself in this at all. The first thing that happened was cravings for caffeine and sugar. Okay, and on the surface, that looks like an adaptation. And what it really is, it is an adaptation, to be quite honest with you. But what it really is a sign that your metabolism is struggling. Metabolism, your ability to burn fat or sugar, your level of cortisol, the amount of stress that you're under, all of those things drive your brain function, drive your choices. So that's what I'm here to talk about. I'm not my best self, and it's not just because I'm grieving. This is a chicken and an egg story, okay? So I'm here to tell you a little bit about that story and then invite you to join me. Here's the funny thing. I know what to do about this. I have gotten myself into a really bad place. I am sugar dependent. I have sugar cravings and caffeine cravings. I have been not taking very good care of myself and calling it treating myself, or calling it self-care, right? Chocolate and coffee and all of the healthy junk foods that I've been indulging in as a form of self-care. It's not self-care. Okay, it's avoiding the pain that you're feeling, emotional pain perhaps, physiological pain. The reason that this becomes such a slippery slope is because once you have had enough sugar to get your body burning sugar, then quitting sugar is painful as well. And so those cravings will come for many reasons, but one of the reasons that I am just right smack up, like it's right in my face right now, my own lived experience, is getting yourself back off of sugar is painful. And so the cravings will come as a way to mask that pain. So if you're self-soothing, if you're somebody who has done this for your whole life, maybe you were taught, like I was, by my family to eat sugary foods as a way to soothe myself, and then you become dependent on sugar, and then you don't have the regular fat burning metabolism that humans were meant to have, and then your brain function is not good, and then you make these choices that aren't good, and then all of the while you're stressing yourself out. Your cortisol is high, your sleep is bad. Now you need the caffeine in the morning to keep yourself going. Now you need that 3 p.m. chocolate bar to keep yourself going. Now you're up in the night and you're eating again, right? And so this is kind of normal. This looks normal in our society. It's not normal evolutionarily. It's not good for the human body. It's not how I have lived the last 20 years of my life. And I have got to put my hand high in the air and say, it's how I'm living now. And I know better, and I knew better, and here I am anyway. So I just kind of wanted to do this. This is a gift to myself on Mother's Day, to come clean, to share this story, to see if it resonates with anybody, and then to show you what I am going to do and hold myself accountable to doing it consistently to make myself better. That's a little harshly worded. I'm a little bit in control mode still, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my body from this stressed out, sugar dependent state. I am going to do a 2-week carb challenge, which is the first step to improving your metabolism. It's not the only thing you need to do to improve your metabolism, but it's the first step. Got to find out how much carbohydrate your body can tolerate. You've got to get the sugar, the processed sugar, the refined carbs, the healthy junk foods out of there. You've got to bring good nutrients in. You got to focus on protein and healthy fats so that your body can shift from sugar burning in its cells to fat burning, so that your brain can run on ketones, which is what it's meant to do, so that you can have the state of being that you want to have. And that's what I want to talk about here for a little bit. One of the reasons that I know I am on a very slippery slope right now is because I am having really poor brain function. I find myself unable to make good decisions. I'm not that articulate. I struggle with my memory. People will call this brain fog. They will call this adult onset ADHD. They will call this, they'll call it normal aging, for fuck's sake. They'll call this just what it means to get older. Not true. None of that is true. Absolutely none of it. And I spent, again, 25 years of my life rehabilitating my daughter's poor brain function and rehabilitating her brain, all the while watching myself age in reverse alongside her. So I have lived this. I know better than to say, oh, this is just normal living. It's not. What happens, though, is you become sugar dependent and your brain function will begin to disintegrate a little bit. And this is this metabolic state. This is the heart of what we call mental illness. It's the heart of it's at the root of what we call depression and anxiety. So let me share with you some of my symptoms, some of the signs and symptoms that are evidence that I am eating too much sugar and that I am way over my carb tolerance. So let me tell you a little bit, and you could blame this on grief as well. But one of the reasons I'm having such a hard time with the loss of my dog is because metabolically I'm not well. And so mentally and cognitively, I am not well. I have negative looping thoughts. I struggle to stay in the present moment. I have real doom and gloom as an outlook on life, right? Like I'm never going to find joy again. I think that's normal grief talking, but when it goes on for day after day, week after week, into months now, not healthy. And if this is you, I'm not here to point fingers at anybody else. I'm here to just kind of be this very transparent example, and hopefully this is going to be of service to people. So I wake up with anxiety almost every morning, with my heart racing and with negative thoughts just right there waiting for me. I wake up I'm pretty weepy. Like I'm very emotional. I have struggled to shake the sadness, and I have struggled to find bits of relief or bits of joy. So that's number one. Is that related to the fact that I lost my best friend? Yes. Is it related to the fact that I feel one of my decisions might have led to that? Yes. But it's more than that. It's like I just cannot quite shake this. Number two, that feeling of grief leads me, and that feeling of weepiness and depression and hopelessness leads me to having really looping thoughts. So negative thoughts, looking backwards, looking for explanations, looking to try to explain. I'm really kind of stuck in this cognitive loop, and I struggle to get back down into my body. Okay, that's a sign of brain inflammation. And sorry, I am getting, okay, some of you are watching. Hi, Kyle. Hi, Myrna. I'm so happy you're here. I'm going to keep rambling for a bit, and I'm glad this is resonating, okay? So I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here. So for me, this is about understanding that an inflamed brain cannot think hopeful thoughts. And if you've been up into my Vibrant Woman program, you have heard me say this before. Brain inflammation is at the heart of things we call anxiety, depression. If you take that farther down the road, you've got bipolar disorder. We've got all kinds of affective disorders that try to explain the symptoms of what the brain is not able to do if it's not able to run on clean fuel and to be organized. This is a sign of neurological disorganization. And I know because I have lived it in reverse, right? I helped heal my daughter's brain. I brought myself to a place of cognitive clarity through cleaning up my diet and lifestyle, developing my aerobic system, creating a very strong, sound, fat-burning metabolism. And now I find myself having taken the other fork in the road and bringing myself to a point of, I think I'm addicted to sugar. I mean, I'm a sugar addict right now at this moment in my life. I have been eating something sweet almost every day for months now. And I can get mostly through the day. I'll start every day and say, well, I know what to do. I just need to quit sugar. And by 3 p.m., I can't do it. I'm reaching for something. And it's this, right? It's that chicken and egg story. It's like you reach for something because it's going to bring you relief. And it does. It temporarily brings you relief because it prevents the shifting of gears back into fat burning that is uncomfortable. Okay, so that's what I am committed to doing. And I want to check my notes for a minute here because I really did want to come and stay on track. And I know I am just rambling here in the sunshine on my deck. Welcome to my deck. It's really beautiful here. I'm listening to the birds a lot lately. I wanted to tell you about the Bell story, how I'm experiencing grief, how this brought me into a chapter where I'm just not handling it well. And what ended up happening is I've got myself in a really fucked up situation where I'm totally sugar dependent. Okay, so my insulin levels are high, which means I am storing fat. I am not burning fat. I am burning sugar. My brain is inflamed. I wake up with anxiety every morning. I wake up with negative looping thoughts. I struggle to get my work done. I struggle to remember. My mood. Oh my God, folks, let me tell you about my mood. You should ask my daughter about my mood. She even says it to me kindly, and I take this from her, but she will say, don't be an asshole. And I'm like, oh my God, I am. Like, you should hear my tone. Here's what it is. I'm irritated all the time. And I'm irritated all the time because my brain is on overload, because it is struggling to be organized and make connections. Okay, so I hope that you are taking your own inventory with this and saying like, I didn't realize those were signs of carbohydrate intolerance. Okay, sugar addiction, carbohydrate intolerance, tomato. I have the wrong metabolism right now. Most people in our modern world have the wrong metabolism, which is why obesity, which is why mental illness, which is why neurological problems, learning problems, struggling with mood, anxiety, depression, why all of these things are so prevalent in our world. And I just think it's really fun. I'm just going to go ahead and have fun with this to say, like, this moment in my life for me right now is really fun because it's not just what I know and what I can teach and what I can tell you. It's that I actually went and put myself in this fucking bad position. I did this to myself. And I'm going to undo it. And I'm going to model that for you. And if you're interested, then you're going to know what's possible. And then you're going to be able to do that for yourself. That's why I'm doing this. And I'm doing it for me. Because it feels really good to be able to come forward and say, these aren't just, bad health doesn't just happen to people. It doesn't just happen by accident. It's a series of choices. And it takes time. It takes time to create a health problem. And it takes time to reverse it. But I know how to do both. So now I have a choice. And it's funny to say that because it's almost like, well, why did you do that? Why would you choose to drink coffee and eat chocolate bars? And isn't that the definition of self-care? Isn't that what we're being peddled all over the place today for Mother's Day? Like bubble bath and chocolate cake and, flowers and sugar and candy and all the stuff. And companies are raking in the big bucks today. And tomorrow, mothers are going to go back to their normal lives, to their work, to all the things that they lift and hold invisibly that knit the world together for the people that they love. There's something wrong there. There's just something wrong with that. So I'm not doing it. I'm going to mother myself. And here's what I am going to do. I am going to get my health back on track. I am not going to do it out of desperation or deprivation or hatred and loathing for this beautiful body that I live in. I am going to do it out of self-love. I am going to do it out of self-respect. I am going to do it out of respect for my family who needs me still to be strong and healthy and vibrant for them for years to come. I am going to do it out of the memory of this beautiful dog that I loved, whose health journey I will share in more detail one day, because I also think there is a real layer, you can, whether you call it God or the universe, whatever you call it, there is more than just our human perception here. There's more at work than that. And what I learned from watching my dog get sick and ultimately pass in my arms, looking into my eyes, I learned that I do not have control over anything outside of me. I only have control over my own thoughts, my own choices. And that choice is to feed that dog and that daughter and my family with everything that I believe to be good and nourishing and true. And at the end of the day, I do not have control over those bodies. As much as I love them and I hold space for them, I do not have control over those outcomes. And that level of surrender, my friends, is something very new to me. And I'll share more about it soon. But here's what I want to talk about for a minute, because this is what I'm going to do starting tomorrow. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what I'm going to do starting tomorrow. But first, the why. I am not going to do this 2-week carb challenge and take sugar out of my diet and get myself into a fat-burning metabolism and repair my mitochondria and repair my neurons and get myself back into a fat-burning state that improves my aerobic system, that brings well-oxygenated blood flow to every organ system of my body, so that I can thrive and be strong and enjoy this beautiful planet, this life in the one human body I was given on this beautiful planet. I am going to do that because it's the only thing I can do. It is the only thing I can do. And when I do that, and I thrive, and people I love see me thrive, they might want to thrive too. And when I feed that beautiful food, right? Think about when I was cooking lamb every night. It was lamb or salmon or buffalo or elk or chicken hearts. You know, when Bella died in my arms and I sobbed and I turned and I looked at the vet team just standing there in their silent solidarity with me. And I said, oh my God, what am I going to do with all those chicken hearts in my fridge? And they giggled and I thought, no, I do this. I do what's best for myself and for those that I steward and care for, because that's for me and that's who I am and that's who I'm going to be. But I don't get to have any power over the outcomes. I don't get to decide how those nutrients land in anybody else's body. I don't get to decide what anybody else's outcomes are. I don't get to decide, no matter how much I love them or how much they are in my care. I don't get to decide any of that. And just because I gave my dog a healthy environment and she passed away at 9 years old does not mean that I failed. And it does not mean that nutrition doesn't matter. And it does not mean that we are not a part of nature. And it doesn't mean any of those things that I tried to make it mean for a while when I was beating up on myself, right? And when I was beating up on myself the most is when the sugar cravings were the absolute strongest, because that's self-soothing. So let me tell you a little bit more about that self-soothing. When you eat something like a concentrated sugar, whether it's straight sugar in a Hershey bar, whether it's the starch that turns to sugar in that bag of chips, and I promise you those are engineered so you cannot just eat one. Their commercials are cute and sinister, okay? If it is sugar in the starch in the bread, okay, that turns into glucose immediately in your bloodstream. Okay, what happens when you get that dose of sugar? And I might have to move because it's like so bright here all of a sudden. I thought I was in a shady space, but so listen, all of that sugar, it doesn't just turn into the glucose that then causes an insulin response that then sort of fucks up your metabolism by taking down your fat burning and creating this dependence on sugar in your cells that creates inflammation and that whole thing. And if you've ever done a carb challenge with me, you've heard me tell this story 1,000 times. I'll tell it again. I'm happy to. I'll tell it again over the next 2 weeks as I walk this journey myself. But it's not just that. The other thing that happens there is that you get a quick dopamine hit to your brain. All right? Our neurotransmitters like dopamine, like serotonin, like oxytocin even, those feel-good neurotransmitters, those are made in your gut microbiome, okay? And they're dependent on lots of different factors in your life, like low stress, like good sleep, like nourishment. And when we're low on all of those things and we're low on those neurotransmitters that help us feel good in our brain, that help us to have a positive outlook, that help us to see things creatively, that help us to feel hopeful and satisfied and connected, okay? When you take a hit of sugar, it artificially stimulates your dopamine receptors, your serotonin receptors. And so you get this artificial feeling of feeling good. And then you get the withdrawal of it. All right. And that is exactly the loop that I walked myself into. So you take that bite of sugar, and it's not just that your cells become sugar dependent and that then you have to sort of really muscle through and think through like, oh, okay, now my cells are calling for more sugar because my insulin went up, my insulin went back down. Now the cells are starving for fuel and they think that the fuel they need is sugar. And so that's translating as a craving for sugar. It's not just, it is that. It is that. And I've taught that for years and years. And some of you understand that really well already. It's also this brain piece that you got a dopamine hit, an artificial one, and it does feel good. There is some euphoria. There is some hopefulness. And then there's the withdrawal, and it translates as pain. And that pain will lead us, if we're not careful, that pain will very naturally lead us to the next hit. And then the next hit. Which is why it can be so hard to quit sugar. And this is exactly the state that I found myself in. So, here's what I'm going to do. Anybody want to know what I'm going to do? Curious? You want to guess? I'm going to practice what I fucking preach. I am going to walk my talk. I am going to dig deep into my own courage and into my own knowing and into the wisdom in my very own bones. And I am going to walk myself step by step, day by day, back out of this sugar-dependent metabolism and back into a state of ketosis where I thrive. And I'm just going to do it out loud so everybody can see. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start tomorrow. Why tomorrow? Because today I have a couple things left in that refrigerator, my healthy junk foods that I am going to eat a few more of and then toss. I'm going to take that trash out tonight. I'm already prepared. So if you want to join me, here's what to do. Think about your own symptoms. I'm going to talk more about this. I'm going to try to go live most days, just so that I can live this out loud and so that I can sort of teach it in the moment that I'm living it, so that it can be very real and front and center and raw, so that hopefully some of you will see your own journeys and your own challenges through what I'm going to live. And I'm just going to kind of talk it out loud as I do it. Right. So today my mind is looping. I'm a little repetitive. I'm struggling to like take a story and not that the best stories are linear necessarily anyway, but like, right. Like I'm struggling to put this together, super coherently. That's just my brain function today, and I'm just gonna be there. So I'm gonna do my own carb challenge. What that means is that I restrict carbohydrates to the point that I do not have an insulin response when I eat. And I am going to, in that way, invite my body's cells to give up looking for sugar, to dig deep into the blueprint that they were born with, to transition into a state of fat burning that's also known as a state of mild or brain. I call it like a therapeutic state of mild ketosis. I mean, ketosis is a range, and some people do better with higher ketones. Some people do better with lower ketones. That's why what I teach is not low carb, it's carbohydrate tolerance. You have to understand where your body thrives. And that's what I'm going to do for myself. So my sense is that my carbohydrate tolerance is like it always has been, very, very low. I'm going to restrict my carbs. I'm going to take away anything that could possibly cause me an insulin response. Get my cells back into burning fat. As my cells begin to burn fat, I'm going to notice it first in my brain. My brain will be a whole lot more organized. It will be less emotional. It will be less spiraling, looping, negative. It will become more organized. But I'll tell you, that isn't going to happen for the first, I don't know for sure, but probably for the first 3 to 5 days. So there's a transition state of being that your cells are going to keep looking for sugar, and it's going to take them a while to figure out how to burn fat. So I'm going to just live that right out loud for all of you. And as I do, I'll be teaching what it means to create these neurotransmitters that you need, how to make sure that you're noticing what is low dopamine, what that means for you, and what you can do about it, right? Because it's going to get worse before it gets better. And I'm just going to live that out loud. So I'm going to invite you to join me. Here's what I recommend. If you have done a carb challenge before, you probably know the routine. If you've never done a carb challenge before, I'm going to invite you to join me. And what I'll do here in a few minutes when I finish the live and I get into my computer is I'm going to put a link below that's to something called my sugar-free challenge. And that is simply, you have to type in your email and it'll download for you. And it's a document that's going to explain a little bit about the basics here. And it'll have a menu guide, and it'll have a list of, like a shopping list, a list of foods to yes, probably, eat, and a list of foods to likely avoid. Those are the ones, again, that not because there's anything wrong with those foods, and not because we're doing a low carb thing, and not because, here's another guru telling you this is yes and this is no for you. You know me, I do not believe in any of that. I believe everybody has to listen to their own body. But anyway, that guide will give you the background that you need to do a carb challenge if you've never done one before. If you've done it before and you just want to have the guide handy to print out, I'll put that below. So that's a really good place to start. Make sure you read through that and that you get ready by following the directions in there. Here's the other thing you're going to want to do. You're going to want to make sure that you have plenty of those yes foods on hand. And for me, those are the protein foods. So I tolerate animal proteins. I do not tolerate plant proteins. So things like nuts and seeds are not a good option for me. Maybe they're a good option for you. So I'm going to recommend that you stock up on proteins that work for your body. My fridge is full today of things like I bought some all natural lunch meat. I bought a bunch of eggs. I hard boiled a whole dozen eggs today. I've got a roaster chicken in there. And I bought a bunch of steak. So I'm going to be ready to do that carb challenge. I've also got a bunch of salad and low starch veggies on hand. Things like carrots and celery. And I'm going to move. This sun is like bad, isn't it? I'm trying to think where else I can go that's not, this might be better. We'll see. We're going to need to make sure we have, plenty of... plenty of veggies, and you're going to get the munchies. I know I'm going to get the munchies, and it'll be like, I can just have one more. No, you can't have one more, because one more leads to 10 more, delays the body's ability to switch into fat burning, keeps you in that terrible, painful metabolic state of transition for longer than you really want to be there. So we're just going to rip the Band-Aid off and get into fat burning and feel better as soon as we can. So you want to stock up on low starch, crunchy, munchy things, because we're not going to eat less, probably going to eat more for the first few days, and we're going to do it with things that actually nourish us. What else? Healthy fats. So I have got things in there, like I've got black olives on hand. I've got, what else do I have in there? I don't eat nuts. I'm allergic to nuts and seeds. So for me, it's pretty much eggs, avocados. I've got a bunch of avocados. And we want to make sure, coconut, some shredded coconut. You want to make sure that you've got good, healthy snacks. And so here's what I'm going to do. I am going to stop eating all the foods that cause an insulin response. I've got all of the junk food, anything that's a starch, a carb in a box or a bag, all the shit that our capitalist culture, right, wants us to think is food. All of this upheaval about all the toxins in our food system and people all up in arms at like the artificial colors and all of our packaged foods. And I am just gobsmacked that people think food comes out of a box anyway. All right. So food grows out of the ground. It comes out of dirt and you can either pick it and eat it. For a lot of us, then you can kill it and eat it. And I would recommend that you eat the least processed options that you can find. That's what I'm going to be doing for the next few days. And I'm happy to share some of those ideas as I do it. What else do you want to do to get ready if you're going to do this with me? You're going to want to make sure that you do not do any intense exercise. And by that, I mean things like, not that weightlifting is bad. You're going to need your strength. Not that running or biking or swimming, none of those things are bad. But listen, we have to get back into a fat burning metabolism, which means the way that you move as well. So for me, for these next few days, next few weeks, I'm a walker. I'm going to be taking easy walks under this sunlight, and I'm going to be doing it as early in the day as possible. All right. So that's another big piece of this, is that you have to move in a way that burns fat as well. If you're moving in a way that burns sugar, you're going to crave sugar. It's going to make it all the harder. What do I mean by that? If your exercise is too intense, then you're burning sugar, not fat. And you know it because you're exhausted after, and that's when you get your hangry cravings. I used to stop at the CVS on the way home from the Y and buy Oreos because that's what my workout did, is it burned sugar, depleted my sugar, had me craving sugar. And I figured as long as I ate them in the car and didn't actually have them in my house, then I was okay, right? So how ridiculous. And what's hilarious is that I've actually been doing the same thing for these last several weeks. I like go out, drive and eat the chocolate bar in the car and not bring it in the house, right? And not let Haley see it. So sick, right? That's not good. That's not healthy. And I'm just calling myself out for it. And I'm going to, going to turn the corner. So I hope this is helpful for some of you. I hope that you're going to be interested in joining me. I hope that you're kind of taking a look at your own self through a lens of a little bit more compassion and understanding now, and recognizing that if you've gone through something traumatic and stressful, that your body's natural way to adapt to that high cortisol, to that adrenal stress, is to self-medicate with carbs and caffeine. And that puts you on a slippery slope that makes it really, really hard to have the kind of metabolism that will create the kind of brain that can actually manage and problem solve and adapt and perform in a way that takes you through a problem in a healthy way, keeps you stuck. So I'm here to get unstuck, and I'm inviting you to join me. Let's see, what else did I want to say? Oh, I've done this a lot. I used to do a carb challenge every single year. We tended to do it in a group, and I would show pictures of my electrolytes and answer questions for everybody. This is not a carb challenge, so I'm not going to be able to provide coaching for everybody who's following along. But what I am going to do is model my own journey, share it completely openly, and hope that is both inspirational and supportive for those who want to see just exactly what kind of difference moving from a sugar-dependent metabolism into a fat-burning metabolism can make in your life. You're going to be watching my brain transform. Hopefully you're going to watch my face transform. Not that there's anything wrong with getting older, right? Like my Uncle Dan likes to say, it's better than the alternative. I'm absolutely proud of living a long time in this body. But I am going to say this is an inflamed face. It's inflamed. And over the course of the next couple of weeks, we're going to see it change. So I'll just be here with my face, and you can watch and see what happens when we lower inflammation, and when we improve fat burning, and when we improve circulation And when we improve sleep and when the cortisol goes away, right, when my liver begins to clear toxins better. So here's the other thing for me. I'll just name a couple of symptoms. I want to invite you to do the same. Take an inventory of your symptoms. Here are some of my symptoms right now that tell me I am way over my own body's carbohydrate tolerance. Number one, waking up in the middle of the night. It's not because I have to pee. I notice that I have to pee, right? And then I get up and pee. But listen, if you just had to pee, you'd pee and you go right back to sleep and you would not remember that. You won't stay awake for an hour or 2 hours with looping thoughts, picking up your phone, trying to find something to do. That is from a mistimed cortisol response. That's adrenal stress. That's carbohydrate intolerance, friends. That's from your sugar and your caffeine. That's what it is for me. And then when I finally wake up, I'm tired. And I wake up with anxiety and that depressed, hopeless feeling. Yes, my dog passed. Yes, I'm sad about it. That is not the same thing as feeling inside when the bottom drops out. Okay, that feeling of bottom dropping out anxiety, that is your metabolism. That's a sugar-dependent metabolism in a pretty advanced stage, to be quite honest with you. Okay, that will reverse. That's what I'll let you know as soon as it does. I'll let you know the first morning that I don't have that and how many days it took for me to get there. Here's another thing that you will notice. Cravings for sugar, cravings for caffeine, cravings for junk food. Some people think they go from sweet to salt to sweet to salt. No, you don't. You go from carb to carb to carb to carb to carb. And it's because your blood sugar goes up when you eat that first carb, your insulin comes out and takes it down. Now you have low blood sugar. That translates as a stress response. In order to mediate that stress, your body puts out the call for another bit of sugar. And up and down you go all through your day. That roller coaster, that blood sugar roller coaster is terrible for your brain. This is what a lot of people will call brain fog. A lot of people think that it's aging. A lot of people think that it's kind of cute that all of these women beginning to go gray just don't remember names anymore. It's not cute. And it's not normal, and it does not have to be that way. And I was not having those symptoms until I put myself down this fork in the road with these habits. I was not having menopause the same way that my peers are having it until I started doing this to myself. So here's the other symptom. I've been having hot flashes, and they're horrible. And for all of you who, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for the women who have hot flashes. They're terrible. They're suffocating. And that's also triggered by adrenal stress. So that is the body's stress response coupled with a clogged up liver, coupled with some of the neurotransmitter stuff that we've been talking about. So if you're having them, yes, it's a natural, normal response of the body. It doesn't mean that just because your biological clock is ticking or you hit a certain age that you have to accept them. What I like people to understand and what I am just living out loud right now is that your body is always trying to talk to you. She is always telling you what works and what doesn't work. And if you feel less than great, something is not working. Okay? Something is not working. And I'm just looking in the mirror right now. It's not working. And I know what to do about it. So the hot flashes, the anxiety, the hopeless thoughts, the cravings for sugar, your body weight. So fat storage on your body, particularly around the middle. So I'm going to do it tonight or in the morning. My waistband is tight, uncomfortably tight. I got pants I will not even attempt to put on right now. And that's fine. I love this body anyway. I love it when it's feeling a little fat and pudgy. I love it when I can barely balance on a bike. I love it when I'm at my best, and when I'm not, I love it, which is why I'm going to do this work. But listen, if your waist size, so you want to take the measurement of your waist, it doesn't matter how much you weigh. You can do that if you like to. I don't own a scale, so I'm not going to do it. But I'm going to take a tape measure and I'm going to measure around my belly button. And I know that that is going to be more than double my height right now. That is a number one telltale sign of carbohydrate intolerance and that you're eating too much sugar and foods that turn to sugar. So I'm going to take that waist measurement and we're going to watch. The first signs for me usually are improved brain function and then the other of fat burning. And then the next one is watching that waist size shrink. So when we move our body into a fat burning metabolism, its first choice is to go find stored fat on the body and to burn that first. So that can be a fun thing. The other thing for me right now, another symptom is that my boobs are huge. They're too big. It's not about, it's not about my image. It's about comfort. And My clothes are just not fitting me. So your body has a couple of favorite places to store fat when you start getting into a fat storage metabolism. Waist, belly, butt. On women, it's like your breasts and your thighs. And for a lot of us, it's our face too. Get this pudgy looking face and a flat face. That's another sign that your liver is struggling with all that sugar as well. So I just want to say this, just because I can see what's happening, I'm right now, if I continue my current habits, I'm on the path to disease. And I'm already seeing some early disease markers, right? And so I've got to back up, and we're going to watch those disease markers. We're going to watch the disease markers. Well, I like to say, if you change the root cause, the symptoms go away. So that's what's going to happen. Yeah, and that was a lot. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to say. Does anybody watching have any questions? See if I can see if there's any questions. Glad you were all here. I guess the last thing that I want to leave you with is this idea that we've been sold the idea in our culture, in our modern world, that disease and decline are normal, and that the answers, the authority, the solutions lie outside of us. And I don't believe that. And I don't think that that's an empowering way to go about living in a human body. I think that keeps us hooked up to systems that take advantage of us. I think that keeps us disconnected from the only one true place where all of your wisdom and all of your answers actually come from, and that's within. And so today on Mother's Day, I'm going to reclaim my own power. I'm going to invite you to do the same. I am going to turn my attention back inside my own body. I'm going to honor that these physical signs that I have of not well-being, I'm going to trust that the message is there for me. That's just like the game of hot and cold. Anybody ever play that game, hot and cold? That says like warmer, 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 warmer. You're almost there. You're getting it. Or colder, 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 colder. You're moving in the wrong direction. So the symptoms in my body are just my body's way of saying, not this way, not this way. And I'm going to listen to those signs, and I'm going to follow them. So starting tomorrow, I'm going to start my own carb challenge. I'll place the link below this if you would like to grab your own free copy of the sugar-free challenge and join me and walk alongside. And I invite you to follow. Make sure you follow so that you can see, hopefully you'll see my posts as I go live as many days as I can to share my updates and where I am and what's working for me. And when I begin to see those metabolic changes happen, I'll talk a lot more in the next few days about neurotransmitters and about the brain, because that for me is one of the biggest things. I have just been so negative and so grief-stricken. And just because I had a really traumatic and sad event happen in my life, that doesn't answer all of everything that I'm experiencing inside my own thoughts. That's a lot more about an inflamed brain, and I do know what to do about it. So I'm really excited for that to change for myself, and then hopefully for some of you to see what might be possible for you too. Because let me leave you with this. I've seen the power of a human body to thrive. I watched it with my daughter's journey, seen it in my own journey, and it can't just be true for me. If it's true for me, it has to be true for everyone, because I'm not special at all. So I hope that this gives you a little bit of hope on this Mother's Day, that the answers that you need are within you. And I'll just leave you with that. So I hope to see you all again soon. Thank you for being here. Much love. Mother yourselves with grace, with tenderness, and with a strong dose of self-honesty if you can. Okay. All my love, folks. See you soon.